Well, now what are we doing here? I know you thought I wasn't coming. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is Dr. Jan Fortman with Relationship Matters TV. I hope all of you are having a beautifully blessed morning, afternoon, or evening. We are here right outside of Chicago, and I don't know about anyone else, but I am very happy that we are now having some hot weather. You know, I always talk about relationships, and guess what? I have a great relationship with hot weather. I am not going to do a lot of talking. I'm not going to get on my soapbox because I have a very, very special guest. I'm sighing because guess what? I'm starstruck. And you know, it takes a lot for me to be starstruck. But anyway, let me tell you who I have with me today. His name is, and I've got, I'm going to get all of this right because I really want you to know who he is. He is Sir Dr. James Dentley III, Baron of St. James of Cappadocia, and the U.S. Grand Prior General. He is an entrepreneur, a life and business strategist, a philanthropist, and best-selling author of Inspired to Speak and the 5 Frequencies of High Performance, which I read. I read it maybe 5 times. Sir James is a world-renowned, powerful motivational speaker, coach, and business growth expert. His mentorship has inspired over 90 individuals, 90, to become 7 to 8 figure money earners in direct sales and traditional business. He is the creator of the #1 speakers and communication training program, Inspired to Speak Action Camp, which I've been to twice. And he has spoken in front of over 1 million people in 26 countries. Dr. Dentley is the founder of Already Always Amazing, which is a nonprofit organization that serves children, veterans, seniors, and he is the founder of Limitless TV, which I am a part of. And that is a state-of-the-art streaming membership platform that inspires, it educates, and it entertains. He has over 100 awards, and they're for speaking, for business leadership, for philanthropy, all of this since 1996. He must have started when he was like 15. So I just want to, some of his awards, just a few, okay? Just a few. He was the first recipient of the Legacy Award from City Gala and Summit, the Icon Business Award for United for Humanity, You Make a Difference Award for Total Life Changes. I got to tell you about that, okay? Be Great Humanitarian Award, Power Team Humanitarian Award for 2 years. And for those of you who are familiar with this person, Secretary of State of the state of Illinois, Jesse White Foundation Award. So now you know why I am so excited about this guest. So let me bring him on right now. Hello, sir, Dr. James Dentley.
Well, hello, Dr. Jan Fortman. How are you?
I am just great. Look, what do they say? Pleased as punch. Is that what the old folks say?
I'm
Pleased as punch.
as well. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, just to have you as my guest. Now, you know what? People hear all of that. And, but you know what people want to know? They want to know the backstory.
Yeah.
They want to know where you came from here to there. How
Right.
did you get to where you are today?
Wow. First of all, thank you for having me on your show. I have a tremendous amount of respect and love and admiration for you and your family as well. I've had the opportunity to meet your son and your husband as well. We've had a chance to go play out a little bit with some. I think we went to a Circus du Soleil
Mhm.
once, but yeah, we've had a chance to spend a little time together. So congratulations on all the great things you're doing. So I'm so proud and honored to be a part of Relationship Matters because relationships really do. My backstory. Well, you know, I have three sisters, three amazing sisters, and I had an amazing mother. My parents divorced when I was 5 years old. I was the only boy. And, I was always adventurous, always creative and innovative. And I always found ways to earn money. My mom worked in a grocery store by day, and then she worked at a dentist's office part time at night as a dental assistant, taking care of us. She raised us to stick together. We never fight, never. She raised us to love one another. She raised us in the church, and we've always had a very, very special bond. Now she's gone now, but I still talk to my mother every single day. So grateful to have had Loretta uh, Dentley III in my life, and being a part of me that lives through me and through my children as well. So, when I was 17 years old, I went out to try to find a job, and about 10 miles away from my home, I got a job finally at a restaurant called Church's Fried Chicken. The only problem is they had saws. You had to cut the chicken with a saw, same type of saw you cut wood with. So you had to be 18 to get the job. And I never forget the crew chief. Her name was Denise Sale, 1995, on my 17th birthday, matter of fact. She looked at me and she said, "You're such a sweet boy. I'm going to change your birth date and tell the manager to hire you." And
Mm.
there it was. Now, I'd always found ways to create money and make money and do something on the side. But this is my first full-time job. The challenge was I was in high school and I'm going to work at 6 o'clock in the evening and getting home at 3:45 in the morning.
Ooh. Ooh.
That was a tough one. Yeah. And I worked at least 2 to 3 school nights. And so I worked my tail off. And while I was there, I always like to make tasks that other people don't want to do, make them fun. So I memorized all three manuals: the policy and procedure manual, the repair and maintenance manual, and the operations manual. I memorized, and they called me the walking manual. Once I got done with that, I decided to count all the tiles on the floor, all the bricks on the wall, all the bricks holding up the building. I wanted to know everything. To this day, Dr. Jan, I can't get these things out of my brain. And as I look back, when I was 8 years old, when we went to a church called Third Baptist, they put me on the deacon board. I memorized the books of the Bible when I was 8 years old, 51st Psalms when I was
Ooh.
8 years old. And these things I just have that memory recall. Now, the other side of it, I was in a vocational high school and I was a D average student.
Okay.
I was a D average student, and I worked full time in my senior and junior year working. And I graduated, and then they made me the youngest general manager in the company. Now, I would think that in business, that was my first stint with leadership. But even in church, if I snuck out of church while my mother was in the choir, I don't know how we got away with it. But all the boys would follow me, and we sneak out together and build clubhouses and go to spend our church money on candy. People always follow me for some crazy reason. I never really thought of too much about it, but I became the youngest general manager in the company, one of the top 10 in the country as well, in the company, because I like being good at things. I like to. It was fun when things are good, especially when you're very, very young. So I became the youngest district manager, the youngest regional manager, and then I left Chicago to move to Texas to get with a company called Steak and Ale, steak, lobster, prime rib. I mean, that was really cool. Dr. Jan, I had a T-shirt, "Marry Me and Eat for Free," because I had all that. I had champagne on the tables, lobster, sister, lobster for me, anything.
Ooh, okay.
I had it going on. We used to own the Bennigan Exchange too, if you remember Bennigan. So the backstory for me is that I was always just been did adventures. I've always had this imagination of curiosity. I was always that dreamer, but I wasn't afraid to do the hard work. So after running those restaurants in Texas and having 150 employees, none of them looked like me, but having great success, I learned a lot about people. I learned a lot about myself. I was good with numbers, good with P&Ls. And when I came back home, I wanted to go into business for myself. And I learned very quickly there's a big difference between being a business owner and being a manager. Because if you break a dish, the manager orders more, the business owner pays for more.
Okay.
I
Okay.
learned the hard way. And I opened up so many different businesses, nightclubs, a restaurant, import, beauty salons. I went to beauty school. I did everything. I tried to do everything I possibly could, trying to find that lane that was really, really for me. And that's a short version of the uptake. But to go into that and become a speaker and to train speakers all over the world, some of the best out there, and to find that I had a voice and an impact, but that memory I had served me because, as you know, I remember stories, poems, principles. I can just boom, 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 did it. And I always tell people I had a D average. I thought I had a B once on my report card, but it was really two D's close together on my report card.
Okay.
But today I even train the CEOs, thought leaders in colleges. I've been somewhere everywhere all around the world talking, training. And I learned that everyone has a gift and everyone's life is important and everyone has something you can share. That every person that I ever met was a great example or a terrible reminder. But I learned from everybody. I'm a seeker. So moving through that, I got into business and failed a lot. But then I had some wins and I actually made millions of dollars on 3 occasions, lost the first two, and then really started to educate myself and learn about money, how it works, how to make it have babies. And then when I went into philanthropy, I found in my heart that, I retired from working January 13th of 1995. So I love to impact, empower. You can't help everybody, but we pick 7 to 9 nonprofits every year that we serve and we give resources to and help them raise money. And now being a part of the Royal Order and running the United States, we're actually building our own country now. So it's pretty cool. A lot of great things happening.
Wow. Wow. That is really something that, but what I want to ask you, you've done all of this, but you couldn't do it by yourself.
Oh, no.
So tell me about, I know there had to be some personal and professional relationships that helped you to become successful.
Yeah. My mother always supported me and we always had these great conversations. That's why even though she's passed away 6 years ago, I still talk to her every day. Every day we have the same, because I know what she's going to say. So I just have the conversation.
Okay.
And I put a little picture of it. So she was my first mentor. I had mentors in the church that taught me principles because I learned that when things go wrong, I don't have to go wrong with them because you never hit rock bottom. You only hit rock foundation. So my foundation was always that, and faith always kept me when I did some boneheaded stuff and messed up, and I had plenty of those. Michael Kupis was one of the co-founders of a company called ACN. He was 27. I was 33. He was one of the most brilliant people I've ever met when it comes to mindset. His brother Tony was expert in training. His partner Greg Provenzano had the heart, and he was such a great communicator that made you feel welcome and made you feel safe in there and believe in his vision. And Robert Stefanowski was the business person there. So I pick up mentors. I mean, Les Brown, I mentor him. He started off mentoring me. I mean, every Jeff Hoffman, co-founder of Priceline, you've had these people on your show. So, to learn from people, how do you, people always say, Dr. Jed, you have to think outside of the box. I believe there is no box, and that there's no box is only possibility. People say like it's a law of attraction, but in my book, The 5 Frequencies, I talk about before the laws of attraction are the laws of awareness, because everything you really need to accomplish your dream is closer than you think. You just can't see it because you're boxed in seeing all the challenges and what's going wrong, and what you desire and this thirst, or what you have to do, or what's wrong tomorrow, or he did this, or she did that, or the kids, it's just one thing after another. But when you get that clarity and you can connect yourself with the one thing that you are a part of, that you have full dominion of, and that's the universe, because everything on this earth is made from the same carbon makeup as every person. And when you ingest oxygen or ingest information or ingest the things you see and feel. Whatever you ingest, you express. So I learned to manage the emotions and separate how I feel and what I like. People say their heart is broke. If your heart was broke, you'd be dead. You feel a certain way, but that's you're in a story. But movies have stories, and they're designed to make you feel a certain way. So it's by design. So when you understand that, and I begin to study those things about breakthrough and how to overcome self-defeating behaviors to become better for my own life, I realized that I could help so many other people at the same time. So I love to teach communication. I love to teach people that it's not that bad. No matter, even when I was diagnosed with cancer, it was such a gift for me because I'd known other people who had cancer and even didn't make it through it. And I would say, I'll pray for you, or, walk away and kind of feel bad. And now I can have a conversation. And as of last week, I'm 7 years cancer free. So it's all a blessing. And there's always what's next. So I just stay focused on what's next, live with joy and happiness and love every day and try to make a difference.
All right. Oh, so now you talked about your mentors in the past. Do you have mentors now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, lots of them. First of all, with the Royal Order, Duke Gerhardt is a great mentor because I never, we would see these things on television, but I didn't understand what a royal order really is, a royal house, to be part of a sovereign nation, to be part of something that's real. A lot of people don't understand it, but it's actually really real. And I learned a lot about, and everyone there is just focus on trying to help good men and women become better. So maybe we can make the world a little bit better. And it really help our children who maybe 60% of the population, but 100% of the future. How do we help them? How do we help women in this? So my mentors are all around me. I learn from everybody. Everybody's my mentor. I learn from my wife's a double scientist and a physicist. She talks in
Yes,
her sleep. I
you.
learn every night. She's brilliant. So I learn. I have so many. When I talk about building a multi-billion-dollar company, I have mentors who've done it. If I talk about becoming better, like in health, and well, I'm working hard on that one. But I got mentors for that. I've got mentors for my spiritual life. I got mentors for relationships. I study relationships, and when I see something that works, I say, okay, how do I put that into my crock pot and stir
Okay.
it up into my stuff and make something new in there? So I get mentors that I learn from everybody. I'm a seeker.
Okay. So you have global success and you touched a lot of lives, including mine. But what I want to ask you is, how do you define a life well lived? And has that definition has that changed or evolved over the years?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because it does change. Because um, first of all, we go through our lives just trying to find clarity about who we are and where's our place here. What are we supposed to really be doing? Um, we feel like we always fall short of the mark, or we accept our lot in life that we cannot do more. Um, I was very, very fortunate to have had some challenging times in my life. And when I came out of those challenging times, I learned so much from them. And because I'm a seeker, I realized that those experiences could help me even build a business because I could help other people by helping them solve the challenges they have in their life. I get the tremendous joy of learning that I can wake up every day and decide to love people. But I can love some of them across the street. I don't require them up close and personal. But as long as I operate from that space and have that clarity and that peace and that gratitude, I see everything in life a lot clearer. I stay at peace all the time. When things go crazy, I don't go crazy with it, and I seek to learn. I ask questions. I understood the power of humility. It doesn't mean that you're weak or passive. It means that you have a sense of knowing. Because after all, you always are what you're conscious of being. So the question is, what are you conscious of being? What
Okay.
are you really conscious of being? And I believe there's no limits in your living. So for me, to identify that I've been able through all the things I've ever done in my life, some of them crazy as I don't know what, that I've been able to touch and impact the lives of others. Even when, and even in speaker training, I teach people that when you're on the stage, we're never the star. We are the director, and the audience is the star. So how do we help other people shine? I love doing that because most people don't talk from that standpoint. Because if you're better and I'm around you, I'm better because I'm around you too.
Okay, all righty. A question came in here.
Yeah.
Um, what has been your biggest challenge along the way?
Hmm. As I look at the breadcrumbs in my life, I always say you live your life forward, you understand it backwards. Huh.
Oh,
I've had many challenges. Uh, Today, I don't feel like I really have them. I just feel like it's just life. It's just part of
okay,
life because and when things are go tough or go wrong, I understand what comes beyond that because I'm in preparation for something greater to build that muscle up to be able to endure what's in front of me. So to learn, my biggest challenge was to learn. Okay, here it is. My biggest challenge was to learn how to really love people and to love them for them and not for me. That's a deep
so
one.
explain that.
Okay. You see, if you love somebody for yourself, I love somebody for if I love you for me, then I love you as long as you're getting
Okay,
okay, as long as I think I'm being nurtured and fed and I'm getting what I think I need out of it, I'm cool. When I don't get it, then I feel a kind of way, a certain kind of way. You know what I mean? Okay.
okay,
When I love you for you, I understand that you get to be whoever you want to be. And that doesn't mean, see, it's a difference between loving somebody and being in love. In
yeah,
love is when you mess up
yeah.
your credit and let somebody use your car. You give the keys to your house, you just met them last night. What's wrong with you? So anyway, that's it. But when you love somebody, it's just that I understand that everybody has to be who they are in those moments. And it's okay because I can love you across the street. I don't doesn't mean you have to be here. Because as long as I can keep me cool, everything works. The Bible says a person that cannot control their anger is like a city without walls. So why would I make myself defenseless? Why do I raise my own blood pressure? Why do I cloud up my own judgment? Why would I make myself upset? Why? I don't have to because you get to be who you think you need to be. I
Okay,
just show up. But if I can learn to love you, then it's not based upon your behavior or what you do because I don't, it's a difference, love is not an emotion, it's an action. It's not how you feel, it's how you show up. So if I can
okay,
show up a certain way, then I can keep situations cool. I keep me cool. I can see clearer, and I can always stay on path with the things I want to accomplish. And I get up every single day and make a conscious decision to love my wife even more, to love my family, my kids even more. How do I get up and trick them today and make them laugh and make them smile? How do I trick them to fall in love with me all over again? All that stuff. I think to me that's just cool stuff. But they get to play their role, but I can't look. Who can I control? I can't control you. I can't control anybody. But if I can't control myself, I'm in trouble. So I learned to become inner directed. Most people are outer directed. So if somebody can pull your strings, you're not in control. So the
okay.
hardest lesson was to learn how to
But that's hard.
until it becomes easy.
Yeah, well, okay,
Because nothing matters until I make it matter.
okay,
The worst is going
okay.
to happen is that somebody dies. Everybody dies. Somebody
Yeah,
asked me, what do you fear? I said, it doesn't even exist. It's just a chemical reaction in your body to something that's strange. You go to a movie and you can scare you, but it's not real. And you knew it when you paid your $7 at the door.
yeah. You're
You knew you
right.
were going to see the same person that died in another movie. You know that.
You're right.
Okay,
You're
so
right.
yeah. So that's in speaking too, how do you understand how the brain works? So you don't have to get lost in that you can have the experience, but you don't have to make the experience an identity.
Okay. All righty. So I want to talk about Limitless TV.
Uh-huh.
And so I've been with you since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
When you told people or you decided that this is something that you wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
did you have any naysayers?
No, as a matter of fact, I had some very wealthy people that said if anybody could pull it off, it would be me. Uh, but I also understood that in business, it takes 3 to 5 years to build anything great. Sometimes
Okay.
you can hit that magic and it just pops, but it takes some time. I never done it before. I created the network. Like 15 years ago, people wanted me to go and do this stuff. I said, no, I'd rather not be on television. Not what I want to do. It makes you look 10 pounds heavier. No, thank you. I uh, I started it during COVID because speakers had no place to speak. And
Hmm.
because of my direct sales business I've always had for 32 years, I didn't have to work. I actually had a seven-figure residual income that was sustainable for like 9 years. So I was in good shape, but all my friends were hurting. They couldn't speak anywhere, they couldn't go anywhere. They weren't prepared for their income to be cut off. So I created the network really for them, for people like you who've been through speaker camp, because actually I really do care. Sometimes I'll be very direct with people, but I do care. And I wanted to create that to give them an edge because I realized that if you can celebritize the brand and help people extend their reach and expand themselves the way they think and what's possible. Look at you. I mean, looking at your show when it came on, it is so beautiful. It's so well done. It just made my heart feel great just to see, excited about the colors and it's the theme and the real. I made him say, "Wow, I want to go back and step up my game some more."
Oh,
Yeah, seriously, but so I created it so other people can win, but I wanted to create it to give people the thing that YouTube did. Because it's one thing to get your brand out there and to get a lot of likes or views. I wanted people to be able to have their data because I understood in business the valuation of a business is how much is the data that you have. Facebook was worth $9 billion before they sold an ad. YouTube is worth $3 trillion. They don't sell $3 trillion an ad. The valuation is there because everybody puts their content there, got everybody coming in to see their content. They don't have to pay for it to get in there. So we gave them everything they needed for free, and then they can pay us pennies on the dollars on the amount of likes and views, which is good. It's still a good business model. But how do we help empower each individual so you can have your own Netflix inside of your own Netflix, so to speak? How you have your own streaming insight. And that was the idea. Just had to think through, how do we really encourage people and teach them how to build a community? Because if you want to
okay.
get wealthy, I was telling my daughter today, Dr. Jam, look, you've got a printing business, okay, but now you're into sports. You're doing all this stuff for all these sports teams. But if you have the data, then you look at what else do these sports teams need? What else do the fans need? What do they want to see? How do they want to engage? Can you provide other things so when there's no game going on, you're still making money because you're still creating value? So the data allows you to be able to market several things because every person we do business with, they leave us and do business somewhere else too.
Yeah.
So how do you get in front of it? So that's the idea.
And the name is so appropriate
Mhm.
because when you say limitless,
Yeah.
that's really what you're saying
Yeah.
about the possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah. Thou shalt decree a thing, it shall be established unto you, it shall accomplish that to where it has been sent. You got to speak it. So behind that is that, a lot of my teams are named Limitless 4.0. Our events are Limitless for Women or Limitless Experience. So it just makes sense to go into Limitless because you really are, they're born in the likeness and image of a creator. From the very beginning, our creator always creates. From the beginning of it, where you can, on record, living in a cave, you don't live in a cave anymore. You create stuff and create more stuff, make it colorful, make it more comfortable, make it easier. Now they're creating so much that they don't even need you anymore.
That's the truth.
But that's what we're here to do is to create. The key is always more. But here's a cool thing. If you look around that room, looking at the beautiful paintings behind you and looking at the chair, you look around any room, anyone who's watching you, and everything you see once upon a time never existed. But everything needed to create it was always here. You couldn't
Yeah,
see it. So how do you chill out, stop getting all upset about stuff, and learn how to see better? If you see better, you may pick better.
through that. I was telling my son that today that it's everything is really it's already here.
Yeah.
It's already here. Uh, my thing is you have to be open.
Yeah. Yeah. But you have to know you have to get clear on what it is you want. And I
Yeah,
think we're so vague. Like we say, I want a car, but then we get mad when the car breaks down because we didn't ask for a new, good running car. Well, I want a relationship, but you get mad because it's not the right relationship. Who are you going to become to be able to match. See, Tobler's law says that things that are alike are closer to each other than things that are apart. So you want to get a good woman, but you don't want to be a good man. Or you want to be you want to get a good man, you want to be a good woman. And you have to communicate. And that's why I love teaching and inspire to speak, because communication, do you know everything in the universe communicates?
Yeah, I
Everything.
believe it.
Everything. Now, can I tell you a quick story?
Sure.
All right. It's two twin sisters in their mother's womb. Now, the foundation of communication is vibration and energy, because you can you can feel somebody staring at you in a mall. You
Uh-huh.
can feel that energy, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody can walk in their job and say, "What's wrong?" They say a word. You can feel something's wrong, or that they're hiding something good happened, right? So these two babies, these two embryos are inside the mother's womb, and they're communicating through vibration. And one sister looks at the other and says, well, she just puts her head to the other, says, "Wow, I can't wait till we get out of here." And the other sister says, "Out of here? There's no out of here. All there is here." And she says, "No, one day we're going to get out of here and we're going to have life." And the sister says, "Life? There's no life. This is life. This is all we know." Say, "Yeah, one day we're going to eat with our mouths." Eat with our mouths? I can't even move my mouth. We eat through a tube in our stomach. That's how we get fed. No, we're going to be to eat with our mouths. We're going to have feet and we're going to walk. We're going to have teeth and we can chew. And we're going to and our mother's going to take care of us. And she says, "Mother? There's no such thing as mother. You ever seen a mother?" Now you're inside the mother. You have not ever seen a mother. And for that time, and when consciousness begins, and consciousness begins when things start to move to manifest who you are, no different than a seed becomes a tree. Okay? You are this little piece of soluble 95% water when you're created. This is everything you are starts right there, 72% water today. So then, so the existence of all you know about life is in the confines of what you can experience. So once you're born, life then becomes everything that you experience. You can't broaden your imagination if you're like in North Korea. They don't get there's no internet, no television. They go to bed when it goes dark. They work all day. That's life for them, and they have good days and bad. They're not whining and crying and miserable. They don't know anything else. So we expose ourselves and our children. It's like you travel around the world now. It expands you. It expands you. Even when I hear you speak now, it's a whole nother level. You just because, and that's what it's all about. So as you encourage the people who are watching that there is more, and once they say that, then start to show up. And you just have to change the way you look at things so you can allow the things you look at to change. So the habits, the rituals, there's always more, and there's more than enough for everyone to have more than enough. So if it's money, don't worry about what you don't have. Whiners talk about their problems. Winners talk to their problems.
Okay. All right. I'm glad this is being recorded so I can put that down. So now you speak often about high performance and limitless potential.
Mhm.
What do you believe are I would say, and I think you kind of touched on it, the invisible barriers that most people never confront in themselves?
Yeah. Well, we all have these. I used to call it baggage.
Okay.
What you live, you learn. What you learn, you practice, and what you practice, you become. On YouTube, there's a video I did in 1999, 10,000 people, and it was really about you're told no so often, and then when you go to school, kids can be cruel and say you're four-eyed or you're too skinny or too fat or too
Yeah, I was called
smart,
sticks.
all that stuff. Yeah, and,
Well, I
and
wish they would call me sticks now.
let's see. Well, you carry that subconsciously. There's a human defense mechanism that helps you to survive because the mind has to get you. You have to survive it. Okay. So then you go and you get in a relationship, it doesn't work out, and then you like, what's something's wrong with me in that, or something's wrong with them, or why can't I get somebody good, or why this, or you don't get that promotion on your job, or you get fired, and your identity is so wrapped up into the job, and so we go through this emotional roller coaster, so to speak, and then it becomes part of our identity. You know, what's his name? John Maxwell wrote in his book, Failing Forward. He said 5 chapters in life. Chapter 1, I walk down the street. There's a hole in the street. I fall in the hole. Oh, I'm mad. I'm pissed off. Why is this hole here? How come they didn't cover it up? This is ridiculous. I get mad. I get sick and tired of being sick and tired. I get out the hole. Chapter number 2, I walk down the same street. There's a hole in the street. I try to jump over the hole and fall short and slip and go in again. Man, how come the hole is still not uncovered, but I've developed a habit? Chapter number 3, I walk down the street. There's a hole in the street. I walk around the hole. I slip and fall in again. Oh, man. But I get out a lot sooner. Chapter 4, I walk down the street. There's a hole in the street. I walk around the hole. Chapter number 5, I walk down another street. So I think it's like you have to put yourself in agreement with the things you want and be in the proximity with the people who are in alignment to help you get there. You know, you can't draw intelligence from a stupid whale. If you 5-year friends are flat broke, you will be the 6th one. It doesn't mean they're bad people. The way that you make that shift is by establishing higher goals, because goals will create separation. If I want a Tuesday night learning about relationships, and you want to go bowling on Tuesday night, well, you're going to be bowling. I'll be learning about relationships. You'll get good at bowling. I'll be good at relationships. If you want to get good at money, you're going to learn about money. What is it? How does it work? How do you make your money have babies? How do you earn passive income? How do you get rid of, why come rich people don't have to pay taxes like other people do? If you're not interested in learning how, then you're not going to make it, because once you're interested, you're putting yourself in alignment or an agreement with those things that you want. And most people are locked into the things that Paul said it in the Bible. He said, the things that I want are not what I do. I do the things in which I hate. We do the things that's against our best interest. And once you get in proximity with people who are moving in the direction, that's why the event we had last Friday and the events that we always go to are so good, because you're around people and you never know when one person is going to say that one thing to you that would change your life forever. But you have to show up.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
You have to be in the room.
You got to be, and you belong in the room, every room.
And you know what? I think that's one of the barriers that people have, is that they feel they don't belong in a particular room.
Yeah. Well, the thinker thinks and the prover proves. The prover will prove whatever the thinker thinks. If you don't think you're good enough, you're going to prove it.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Every person in that room, they're all good friends of mine. Now I'm running an entire nation from a royal house in Europe as well. How did I get here? I don't know. How do I have these relationships? I show up and I serve and I got good at one thing, and everybody is good at something. But are you useful? Are you willing to show up? Are you willing to serve? Are you willing to play? Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to be mentored? Are you willing to invest in yourself? That's a big one. Nobody wants to spend money. They spend more money on their head than they spend in their head. On your back, you spend in putting inside of you. You know, you gotta. You can put on a great suit and great tie and all that stuff, but then your heart is raggedy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's a couple of questions. It texted me. Okay. This one says, if you could relive your life, would you change anything?
No, you can't, because if one thing changes, everything changes. Think of it like this. In 1994, I moved to Atlanta. I got a network marketing with a company called ACN. There was a gentleman at the top. He was 21. I'm 33. His name was Delzino. He got a guy by the name of Roderick Brown, who got Darren Elijah, who got Dora Chambers, who got Ken Robinson, who got me. Had this gentleman, we haven't spoken since 1994. Had he not gotten that company and this unfolded the way it did, I would not be here talking to any of you today, which means that this person that you do not know not only impacted my life, but your life. Because if I'm not talking, you're not talking to me. Whether you're doing something else. So somebody else made a decision. So your life has more meaning to it than just you. You impact people, all people. And if you look at if you go back through the breadcrumbs and look at your life, everything, even if it's something horrible, a lady with a husband killed himself and a son because he had been unfaithful and gave his wife AIDS and couldn't take it. So he made suicide with him and his 8-year-old son. And she still lived to come and empower people through that story, asking God, just give me one more breath, one more step to get through it. And she came through it and she wrote about it. And then she started groups with other people about it to help make people better. Now, that's not what you want to happen, but it
Right.
happened. So, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to take the plastic that everybody throws away in the garbage, the recyclables? And some people, they're making clothes out of plastic now. They're taking that plastic and making it new stuff that you don't even know what you got. You get that same plastic right back.
That's very true. Very true.
So what you want to throw away, use it to teach other people and help other people. Because if you want to build a business, if you want to find purpose, serve others, solve problems, fulfill needs. You make money and you serve others and make a difference.
I got a little quick story.
Mhm.
And when you talk about how your life affects other lives. And this is a quick story about my husband. So he's a two-time cancer survivor. But
Mhm.
with his first cancer, he was a cancer of the throat, the back of the tongue. He said that, he was almost to the point of giving up with the radiation because they had to put this mask over him and, you
Mhm.
know, bolt his head down and stuff. So his daughter gave him a tape of Marvin Sapp's,
Yeah.
uh, oh Lordy, what's the
Which
name of
one?
it? Never would have made it. Okay.
Never would have made it. Okay, got it.
Okay. All right. Now we were on a cruise
Mhm.
and I'm standing in the buffet line, and
Oh,
this little man is standing next to me with t-shirt on, t-shirts and flip-flops, and we're complaining about the fact that they don't have any more shrimp. Now my husband's in the other line, and he's just grinning, and I'm like, why are you grinning at me? So later on, he said, "You know who that was?" I said, "No." He said, "That was Marvin Sapp." Okay, so now we're on this
nice.
island, and he sees Marvin Sapp. He goes up to Marvin Sapp and he tells him, "I don't want anything from you. I just want you to know that you saved my life." And he told him,
Yeah.
about the song and everything. Now that
Mhm.
night, it was a show. Marvin
Yeah.
Sapp stood up there and said, "I met a young man," and he told the story. He said,
Mhm.
"And I was thinking about not singing again.
Wow.
I was thinking of just doing, ministry preaching. But
Mhm.
he has made me know that I need to sing and I need to keep singing."
That's right.
We were like, and so you never know. So I told my husband, just how many lives you have affected millions of lives by
Yeah.
going through that journey,
Yeah.
that cancer journey, and you wonder why me,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? Yeah. So, yeah. So
Why
anyway,
not?
go ahead. Oh,
I
it
said,
was
why
another
not
question.
do it? Yeah. Now go
Yeah.
ahead. What you got?
Okay. It says here, you sound like a philosopher. What is the best advice that you can give someone, especially the youth?
Wow. We're starting to do some stuff with Ray Lewis. I have such respect for him. And we're having conversations. And through our nonprofit, we're really focusing on leadership and mental health. I would say number one with our youth, we have to learn how to talk to our children differently. Every generation, the communication changes. Like when I was a kid, our parents didn't talk. Kids stay in the kids' place, right? And now we're in this genre today where it's so different. There's a lot of dads not in the homes. And I'm not saying you have to be their friend, but you better talk to them. And you can still be a friend, because if you're not a friend, then that friend has influence that you don't have. You have to have those children have to feel safe where they can talk to you about almost anything. So we got
Yeah.
to learn how to talk to them different. We have to learn how to empower them different. But the biggest thing is that we have to learn how to become better examples. Now, the first thing is I'm a true believer in getting money as an issue out of the way.
Okay.
Get it out of the way. Now, and I still believe that building wealth is not a sin, it's a form of expression. If you look in the Bible about the story of the talents, the person that didn't double the investment is the one that got in trouble with them when the master came back. So it's meant to multiply itself. That way we can help even more people and then take care of the poor. Now, that doesn't mean you just do it for people randomly and take yourself out of that. But the examples we set on how we speak, how we carry ourselves, and you know what, and look, let me tell you, I checked myself once in 28-day rehab before. It was one of the worst periods of my life. I thought I failed everybody. I called my family, had my own intervention. So my stuff is, I have a documentary out about my life. So in the movie that was in the movie theaters is on Limitless TV. So I don't hide from those things because they have no power over me. I understand them, but I wasn't alone. But I don't have to stay there. That doesn't have to be my identity. So wherever you are, that you can turn your life from what you think is tragic to magic right away. You just got to stay plugged in. And I would suggest people stay plugged into you because I know your heart, I know your spirit. I see how you keep growing and keep evolving. And it's about community. You have to be in the right communities. You know, people that empower you, that inspire you, that make you feel good because you're around and make you laugh sometimes, or even sometimes tell you the truth, even if you don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
hard for me.
come on with it. Yeah. So proximity, community will solve a lot of things for a lot of people. But just know there's more for you. And attack your lack, or your lacks attack you. Don't ever start complaining about bills. Don't start stressing about them. Stress about the solution. You know, how do I make more money? Oh, how am I gonna pay this bill? No, that you're manifesting. You're watering the fact that you have something you can't pay. How do I make more money? Is you change the conversation because you're talking from. You have trillions of cells that all talk. You can talk yourself into being sick. You can talk yourself into giving up. You have to be able to talk yourself and empower yourself. Carter G. Woodson said, every now and then I must talk to myself because sometimes I'm in need of an intelligent conversation. And if I could do all this with a D average, come on, y'all, come on. Come on. We build a country, we build a network. I got $2 billion projects going on. Why? Because it's fun. And if I fail at 50 million. Boo-hoo.
All right. Let's say started from the bottom and now we're here.
Hey.
So I got one more question. Well, a couple more. But how do you wrestle with the paradox of ambition versus contentment? In other words, how do you balance the two? You know, some people get to a certain point, you know, they're ambitious, so to speak, and then they get content. But are you content? I know you're not. But how do you balance the two?
I am good in my goodness every single day. I'm great where I am, but I realize there's always more. And a body in motion stays in motion, a body in rest stays in rest. That's why a lot of people retire and sit around and do nothing and they die soon.
And they die.
Yeah, they die because your life always seeks life. Life seeks to live. You know, if you ever saw someone go through cancer or be very ill and saw them make a transition, their body is going to fight for air and fight the pump as long as it possibly can. Sometimes the doctors have to give you something to relax so you can go because you're not ready to go. Because every cell, all it knows is to live. That's its job. But also, every disease wants to live as well. Everything negative wants to live as well. So you're fighting these different things. So I look at it and say, for me, I learn to be happy every day because I can choose it. And I promise you, I am not exaggerating. I haven't had a bad day in at least a quarter of a century. I tried to have one once because everybody talked about it. It didn't even work out. I choose my day. I choose to be happy every day. My mother-in-law comes to my house and she says she loves coming here because there's always laughter and joy at my house. We don't fight, we don't argue, we just operate and we talk, and if you do that and understand and don't beat yourself up about what happened and who you were, start a new thing right now. Start reading books, start listening to some good YouTube videos and read. Don't just pick one, do both. Plug into the events we have. If you're in Chicago or anywhere in the country, we have them virtually. Plug into everything you can positive. Feed your mind. Put it in the crock pot. When you're a poor family, your mother worked at the grocery store. She made what is called a casserole. A casserole was all the leftovers, all put in the pot with some rice and some cheese, and she baked it. And it was the most delicious meal from all the leftovers we had all week long. You put it in a crock pot. Every recipe started with just throwing some stuff in there, and let's see what's going to happen.
Yep. You're right about that.
Yep.
You're right about that. So my last question to you is, you spoke a little bit about what you do with youth. What do you think this generation of youth, what are they crying out for?
Hmm. Leadership. We live in a society where a lot of men don't know how to be fathers anymore, and a lot of fathers are taken. But we also live in a society where, when a relationship doesn't work out, the father puts down the mother puts down the father. You cannot do that, because what you're doing, you're putting an implant and then you're putting an impression inside of a child of how they going to respect another man or another woman in their life. You have to be very, very careful of that. You have to, it starts with you as an individual. And nobody owes you anything except for the respect that you're due as a human being and as a woman or a man out here trying to do the best they can. But always strive to solve the solutions and don't get baked up in the issues. I think for our youth, they have to see us another way. You're the example. And if you're not, and all what you see is what you go after. You can't. Why would you go to the moon if you can't see a moon? If you look up and there's no moon, why would somebody ever try to go there? There's nothing there.
Okay.
Just like the earth is flat for you. So you got to understand that it's vision. Everything in life happens two times: the thought, the thing, the mental, the physical, the inner, the outer. Our kids today are brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. But we have to teach, but they lost some work ethic because the
Mhm.
parents don't teach them. Another thing I would say is that they see us go to the store and use our credit card to pay for things, but they don't see us sit down and pay the bills.
Right.
You have to teach them the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
Everything is a teaching moment. Your children are your legacy. You live forever through them. Your blood and your DNA came from your mother's blood. You're a piece of snot ball in her body. Everything you got fed through her. And when you were born, you left a piece of you in her and a piece of her in you. And they could do a DNA sample and find you out of all the 9 billion people on the planet and 100 billion people that have been here before we even got here. They can identify. You go to TSA, you get up in that thing, even on my phone. It looks at me now and starts scrolling around. It opens up what I want because it knows me.
Yeah.
You are beautifully and wonderfully made. You are special. You are great. Tap into it. And if you can't figure it out, tell Jen to put me back on here. I come and motivate you for 45
All
minutes.
right. Okay. So wait a minute. So Renita Dixon just put a comment. She said 50 million. Boo hoo. That's a cool place
Yeah,
to be.
boo. Quit crying.
So, Dr. Dentley, Sir
Yeah.
Dr. James Dentley, if people want to get in contact with you, and I should have asked you this before, at
Uh-huh.
first, because I'm going to have to put it in here. How do they contact you?
Um, I would say the best way to do it is text the word. Which one I want to give you? Text the word 31 now, 31 NOW to
3131
31 NOW to 26786 now.
NOW
Uh-huh. And text that
and
to 26786.
26786.
Every day for
Oh,
30 days, you're going to get a 2-minute video with me saying a poem, a rhyme, or something inspiring. Every day, we'll let you know about different things we're doing. If you want to reach me directly, just the best way to do it, you can go to jamesdentley.com. But the best way to do it is go to JD at jd3media.com. JD at jd3media.com.
com. Okay. There you go. There you go.
Yep.
All right. Sir Dr. James Dentley, thank you so much for being my guest. You, as always, have inspired me and motivated me. And I want to get to that 50 million myself.
Let's do it.
Renita, let's get that together, girl.
Yeah. Before I go, let me just say that I am honestly, I'm not just saying this. I feel so good about being on your show. I'm so proud of you. So honored to have you to be on your show, to see the things you've done and how you continue to grow. And you just keep growing. So, you're the great example, man, because you were always there, but you just keep. And as long as you got breath, why not?
Why
Why not?
not?
Why not?
Why not?
You got feet.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You have a beautiful, blessed rest of your evening, and tell your lovely wife, your better half,
That's
Dr.
right.
Kara Dentley, that I said hello.
I certainly will.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay. Bye-bye. Wow, this has been great. I have enjoyed this, and I hope you have too. And get in contact with him. And I know I took it off, but you can go to my YouTube channel, Dr. Janice Hooker Fortman, and it's there. It will be there. It was live streamed there. And so, just in case you did not get the lower third, you can go there. It'll be there forever. So, I want to thank all of you for watching, for being with me today. And I know that you got something out of it. But I want to tell you something right quick. You know, I am an author and I have a new book out. And here it is. It is a collaborative book, My Life, My Story. It's available on Amazon. And my chapter is chapter 6, 8 decades of life and wisdom. So just go on Amazon.com and type in My Life, My Story, and there is a Kindle version. However, if you would like an autograph signed copy, then just email me at Dr. Jan at drjanicefortman.com. So I will see all of you again next week. And next week on my show, I do believe, a chef. His name is Chef Andre that I met in Colorado. And he has a unique way of talking about why we choose certain foods. It has to do with your personality. It has to do with the colors that you like. He has a very, very, very interesting book. So I want to make sure that you all come again next week. And all right, Anita. Yes, thank you, dear. And so thank you so much again for watching. And be sure and have a beautiful, blessed rest of your day. I want you to remember there are all kinds of relationships, all kinds of relationship matters, and life is all about relationships. I will see you again next week on Relationship Matters TV. Bye-bye.